Robert, fix it. You have been challenged to build a gaming PC for $100. Can you do it?
I don't know.
Robert, you got this.
Okay, I'm in.
Show them what you can do.
Round one, fight!
Okay, we're back, and just to remind everybody of what we were doing here, we've seen all of these videos where there claims to be a $100 gaming PC build, but when it's all said and done, it's not actually $100, it's $120 or something like that. So we came up with this idea of creating a $100 gaming PC challenge, and everything has to be under $100 all in. Shipping and tax are not included in the calculation, and see what people can come up with. And so the only requirement for the challenge is that it has to play Fortnite, which is very difficult to do for only $100, including the system and the graphics card and everything. And I just did that to level out the playing field, because you could easily make a $100 gaming PC that just played old games. And this time around, I want to do something different. I don't want to use the usual Optiplex with a GPU strategy for $100. Everybody's done that already. I want to actually build a PC with the case and everything. So let's start with the case, and the easiest way to save money is just to use an old case. In most cases, you can get them for free from a friend. But I wanted something nice and also cheap, so I found this case on Facebook. It was $20 with a glass side panel, some generic brand, but it was brand new, and it gives you an upgrade path to the future. Next, we have the GPU, and this is probably the hardest part of the challenge if you have to buy all of the other things. So I got very lucky, actually. After I posted the video of the initial challenge, I found this GTX 960 2GB on Facebook for $25, and it's great. For what it is, it's great. I actually tried other cards, but they had issues, and this is the only one that works properly, and you could probably find yourself, so I decided to include this one in the challenge. Now onto the motherboard and CPU. You can pretty much use anything in this situation. Most people use an old Dell or HP motherboard and stick it in a nice case to make a cheap gaming setup. I already had this one, so I went ahead and stuck with this one that was showed in the last video, and I found the exact same setup on eBay with the memory, CPU and everything, $25. Second gen i7, and it should be good enough to at least get away with a few games. So I used the price all in to calculate in the final price. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I'm not going to use the stock cooler, even though it's free. I have to put something a little bit more interesting in this build, and I found this Zalman tower cooler for $5, and the guy even lived just down the street, which was cool. So I had to have it, and for $5 I could fit it in the budget. And here's the power supply, and to save money, the best way to do it is to use an old Dell, HP, whatever, random power supply, free from your friends. Doesn't matter. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have counted the power supply cost in the challenge, but I'm going to put this in as $5, because that's about what you would expect to pay for one, except now you have these ugly cables here. But that would work, really. If you were building the system, that would work until you had money to get something better. And here's how it looks installed, and it looks funny because the case is so big and the motherboard is so small, and you can see the CPU cooler is bigger than almost the entire motherboard, but it looks nice. And what I did was, to save a few more bucks, I moved the CPU cooler fan to the rear of the case so that I didn't have to buy a case fan. And it runs cool. The CPU never gets hot. It's only a 2nd gen and it doesn't do much anyway. And then of course the GPU has its own cooling solution. So of course none of this matters until we know how it performs. So let's get into the results, shall we? So let's start with the CPU, and just out of curiosity I wanted to see how hot the CPU would get without a fan directly attached to the heatsink. And the maximum temperature is 62, under 10-minute Cinebench benchmark. And now we have Cinebench, total score 3169. It was actually 3117 before I put the larger heatsink on. And that's compared to the i5 3rd gen. It's actually a higher score. And here's the Heaven benchmark, 1721. Kind of disappointing. If it would have been a 1060, it would have been over 2700, even closer to 3000, but there just wasn't enough in the budget to put a 1060 in this $100 system. And the moment you've all been waiting for, Fortnite. Can we do it? Initially pretty smooth, not bad, but it was only 60 FPS, and I wondered why. So once I landed, I changed the settings to 120 FPS cap, performance mode, and everything's on auto. So I don't know what that means, but even though it's not very sharp, it's very smooth, very playable. I would definitely be okay with this. So before we get out of here, let's go ahead and see if we can kill somebody with our little pickaxe. Sorry, not today. You will get the axe. Let's see who else is here. Oh, there we go. More axe. Gotcha. Come on. Axe, 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 axe. I don't even know what he's shooting at, actually, but time to go bye-bye. Suffer the wrath of the $100 gaming computer. Come on. Oh, he's killing me. Woo, just made it. So pretty pleased with the results. Nice and smooth. It's kind of a PS2 resolution, but that's okay. And then as I was sitting there admiring myself, somebody sniped me. So that was the end of that. So let's go ahead and recap the cost. So I bought the case for $20 with the glass side panel, which I can use for future upgrades. The motherboard and CPU RAM combo was $25 because it was so old. I added the CPU cooler I found on Facebook for $5. The Dell PSU was $5 I valued just because you can basically get those for free. The SSD was purchased new on Amazon for $15. And then I added $5 for a hard drive for storage because you can't store everything on a 120 SSD. And then the GTX 960 that I bought for $25 on Facebook. So all in all, $100. So that's the end of the build. That's my entry. If someone else sends me their entry, I will do a video about that. Another thing you can do is just go ahead and look for somebody's old gaming computer. Like this one I bought in a video a while back. It was only $70 and it was ready to go minus a hard drive. So yeah, let's see what you can do. If you want to enter, just let me know.
This is not over.